Hey beer babes, welcome to a very special episode of the podcast. Now, you might be wondering, Will, why are you all by yourself? And this isn't purely by choice. Even though I know there's probably a few fans out there that have really been hanging out for this, but it's actually quite hard work trying to line up three people that are full-time employed and have families and all that stuff. I really like doing this, and I know you guys really love watching, so I thought I'd do one by myself, give it a go. So this will just be me, I've trimmed the fat, I've cut the bullshit. We're just getting beautiful beer insight, which is what you're after. And this is going to be like a little series of episodes that I think I might call Will's One Word. And now one is spelt with a W, as in like winning, because I think all these beers are going to be big winners. And even though I'm flying solo, I might have a super secret special guest lined up to come give their thoughts on this beer. So make sure you stick around right till the end and you'll get to see that. The first beer that I've got today is one I've actually tried before, and so far I think it's my beer of the year. So I'm really, really looking forward to talking about it. This beer is from Hobart Brewing Co., which is located down in Hobart. And last time I was down there was actually when me and the other guys on the podcast, we did a bit of a tour of Hobart and checked out a few breweries. So this is us at Hobart Brewing Co. at the end of our Hobart tour.
Tell us the secret.
Welcome back to Beer Babies. Today we're at...
How about I do the
I'm doing the
intro. I'm doing the intro.
I always do the intro.
All three of us do the intro.
3, 2, 1.
Hi there. Welcome back to Beer Babies.
Look at this can. Just look at this can. I think this is a really clean but classy can of beer. I think it's simple but eye-catching enough. Like the blue and yellow really contrast. So it stands out. It helps that I was looking for this as soon as I heard that these guys were making their take on like a hazy. I just had to get it. So let's pour some into the glass right now. Perfect pours while we're here. You don't get this sort of shot with the other boys, do you? Look at that. So this is how Hobart Brewing Co. described this beer on their website. More haze than the Bridgewater Jetty. That's a bit of a local joke, but if you get it, you get it. You heard right, folks. It's back. The new Australian IPA. Fresh from winning gold at the Indie Beer Awards, now spotting a tin as fancy as the 1920s Bicky. All Australian hops, including Topaz, Galaxy, Cascade, and Eclipse, delivers a tropical fruit punch to the palate, with a firm balance of bitterness that begs for another sip. At 6.4%, it's got some serious weight on the palate, so this isn't your normal pint of breakfast juice. This truly is a delicious beer. Now, I have been going on and on for ages now about hazies. Ever since I found this beer, it's changed like craft beer for me, because we sort of trudged along there for a while, just trying all these beers and not really knowing what we're doing. But the Naipas and stuff like that have made me want to know more about beer, mostly so I can find ones that I actually like. So when I started sort of putting it together, that like the New England IPAs and the hazy beers have got that sort of really strong fruit flavor, it really drew me in. So I thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about New England IPAs before I give a bit of a review of this one right here. This is New England IPAs as described by craftbeer.com, emphasizing hop aroma and flavors without the biting bitterness. The New England IPA leans heavily on the late and dry hopping techniques to deliver bursting juice tropical hop experiences. The skillful balance of the technique and the ingredient selection, often including the addition of wheat or oats, lends to an alluring haze to this popular take on the American IPA. Now we know a little bit about New England IPAs, which I'm hoping it's safe to assume that the new Australian IPA is Hobart Brewing Co.'s take on that style of beer. What do we have to say for this itself? This is a really refreshing drink. It's got a level of fruitiness that's not overpowering but super inviting. Something about it really, it keeps bringing me back. And I think that's potentially, it's got just the faintest, like so small, this faint sharpness sort of in the middle that sort of needs to be quenched. So the beer itself is making me want to drink more beer. It's not super duper fruity, but again, it's also not particularly bitter. It's very, very tasty. It's super hazy, like if you look at that. A can of this comes in about 1.9 standard drinks. So by the end of it, you'll know it. It's not got that super alcohol-y taste. It's not overly carbonated. It's just a beautiful beer. I think the first time I had this was in at Tandy's, and I was so impressed. This beer pours as well as you get it from a can, and I honestly I have been thinking about it basically non-stop ever since. That sounds like I have a problem, but I really found an affinity for this beer to the point where I've had a couple sitting in my fridge just waiting to get them on the pod. But, it just hasn't quite lined up because I almost don't want to waste it on the boys. I feel like this is too nice. And I wanted to give it to someone who really appreciate it. And I could not think of anyone that would appreciate it more than me. So that's why I'm doing it on an episode by myself. So you guys have heard me yammer on. I think because you've stuck around this long, you deserve to see a special guest. And this is a brand new segment in a brand new mini-series called the Taste Tess. This is where I get Tessa to come in and taste this beer and let us know her opinion. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the Taste Tess.
I smell the beer. And it smells like beer. Am I meant to spit it into a bucket? It tastes like beer, which, hold on, I am getting tastes of things. Let me think about what these things are. It's like, I find it really hard to describe stuff. Like when I had kidney stones, they were like, is it sharp stabbing pain or is it like throbbing pain? And I was like, both. And that is an example of how I really struggle with describing stuff with my words. I could paint what this tastes like, but so the chewing gum I had earlier didn't help, so I do feel like I need another sip. It's not awful, which is pretty high praise coming from me because my drink of choice is probably lemonade or a glass of room temperature water. I don't know what to say. Can you cut all of this? Kind of tastes soapy. But I think it's the chewing gum. I need some sorbet to like clear the palate. Can I have another sip?
Yeah, you can sip as much as you want.
It's making my mouth dry. Is that normal? The initial taste when it hits my tongue is not terrible. Just sort of like generic beer taste because all beer tastes like generic beer to me, except for Guinness. I tried that once and that was different. Is that a beer? So I was getting a fragrant kind of taste. I don't know. Obviously that's a smell, but maybe like floral. That's the word. Honestly, it tastes not too bad when it first hits my tongue, but now my mouth just sort of tastes like soap. But I don't want, if the brewers are watching this and listening, firstly, obviously don't take my opinion into consideration because I know nothing about beer. And so just, you should not give a shit about what I'm saying. And no one watching this should. And secondly, I forgot my second point. But just don't listen to my opinion about this because I don't know about beer. But, yeah, it's fine. It tastes like beer. Can you cut all of that? This is our first run at the Taste Tess. Here we go. This is candid and natural. It tastes like beer. It doesn't taste horrible. I don't have much more to say other than it's a little bitter, but I guess that's normal because it's beer and it's making my lips feel a little sticky. and I'm getting a soapy aftertaste, but I had chewing gum about 20 minutes ago, and I feel that might be sort of skewing the, I feel like the chewing gum could be messing with things, but I don't really like beer or drink beer or anything other than cups of tea, but this isn't awful, and I would potentially drink. Do I have to tell you how many I would drink? Well, I don't drink alcohol at all, and even though this is out of 6, even though this is definitely the first take and first run at this, I've had maybe 5 mouthfuls of this beer now. I already feel like it's going to my head, so I would probably, I don't want to rate it, I'm not going to say I hate the Beer Babies rating system. I really hate it so much, because how many you will drink out of a 6-pack does not mean how good it is. And so I'm going to rate this beer by taste out of 10, and 10 is the best. What? Okay.
It's fine. Just keep going.
I just hate this, and I hate you. Not you. For making me do this. And 10 being not the number of beers I would drink. It's just 10. Just 10 as a number. And I'd rate it 5. Thank you for listening, and good night. I don't know what you want from me.
Nothing. I think that was better than I expected.
Oh, I really hate it.
So that, lovely listeners at home, is the first ever taste test. And will it be the last? The answer might surprise you. So thank you so much, Tessa, for donating your very valuable time to come on and help this little podcast along. I think it was the real pick-me-up that we needed. I have had such a fun time with this beer, even though I feel like I struggled to really articulate it. I feel like probably a big part of the Beer Babies is us bouncing off each other, so it's been a very different experience flying solo, but I've had fun, and if you've liked this episode, make sure you let me know, because maybe I'll do a few more. I almost left without doing the most important thing, which is our patented 6-pack test. Everybody knows that this is the only way to rate beer, and that is with a 6-pack test, which is, if I was given a 6-pack of the new Australian IPA, how many would I drink? I genuinely think this is my beer of the year so far. There's a couple other I've had since first having this that are probably challenging that, but this is such a great beer. If I was given a 6-pack of it, I think I'd probably have 5.5, and I would be wasted. But I'd really enjoy it. So thanks for listening, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.